The Red Sox have some legitimate pitching prospects right now. I mean, the big three gets most of the attention and they deserve it. But over the last couple of years, the state of pitching in the Red Sox farm system, and that's from both the draft and international signings, is getting better. We talked about Brandon Clark on the last episode, but they've got some other pretty good arms right now who are trending up.
Yeah, who stands out to you most at this point beyond Brandon Clark? Because I know for years, Red Sox fans have been kind of like wondering, worrying, where's the pitching help going to come from? And it sounds like you got some names who are popping to you.
Yeah, one of them is another lefty, Connelly Early, who was their fifth round pick in 2023 out of Virginia. 23 years old, double A, 10 and two thirds innings, 0.84 ERA. He's got 21 strikeouts and 3 walks, which is a 55% strikeout rate. Obviously, we're still in small sample territory, but that is a crazy amount of swing and miss that he's getting with this any pitch, any count attack. He's a 6'3" lefty with a fastball that's up to 97 miles an hour, which is a small uptick from last year, but he only throws his fastball 22% of the time, at least early on this year. He throws his changeup a third of the time, his slider a third of the time. So his fastball is his third most used pitch. There's a curveball in there, cutter or two. The changeup is the moneymaker for him. It's got 11, 12 miles an hour off his fastball. He disguises it really well. It's got late drop. It's a plus pitch. I think his slider looks like it's taken a step forward this year, too. There's good lateral break to it. He's getting it to the back foot of right-handed hitters for empty swings. He came into the year as a top 10 prospect in the Red Sox system. So I wouldn't call him a sleeper necessarily, but I'm even more excited about him now, now that we're a few outings into the year.
Yeah, his trajectory over the last few years has been really cool to see. I mean, he started his career at Army, where he was a reliever as a freshman in 2021, then moved into a starting role for the team in 2022, threw 85 innings, had solid performance there, transferred to Virginia for his draft year in 2023, 18 starts, 87 innings, 3.09 ERA, the highest strikeout rate of his career and the best walk rate of his career, but it was never really loud stuff in college. I think he was sitting around 90 miles per hour. He was touching 93 with the fastball. He did have like 3 secondaries that were solid, but we viewed him as like a pitchability lefty type with good feel for everything that he threw. Then a few years later, he's like now more sitting 93 miles per hour, touching 95, 96 more consistently. I don't know if he's been throwing even harder than that coming out early this year, but just the amount of strength that he's gained to kind of help just amplify that fastball velocity seems to have really kind of amplified everything and allowed him to take a step further. Cause like he was, again, like just thinking back to the draft, I don't think he was ever a guy who we thought of as like having a single plus pitch. And now you're talking about a pretty compelling all around profile for 23-year-old now performing in AA.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he was available where he was in the 5th round coming out of college. So I think a really good, probably both a really good pick and blend of drafting and development, which
408,000. I was about to say we do seem to say that quite a bit recently for Boston. Just signed for 408,000 as their 5th round and 151st overall pick in 2023. Maybe another drafting win for Boston.
Yeah, I mean,
what else you got? You said international as well.
Yeah, on the international side, I mean, like they have Luis Perales. He's good. He's out right now with Tommy John surgery, but I like him a lot. Then they got Juan Valera, who the ERA is high because he's given up a bunch of runs already early in the year, 12 and a third innings, but he's also struck out 15, and he's 19 years old in high A after throwing only 23 innings in low A last year. The stuff coming out of his hand is absurd. I mean, he is pitching at 95 to 100 miles an hour. Last year was more 92, 96, touching 8. So he's showing more velocity, and he's throwing this hard, tight slider that gets into the low 90s. That thing is not a cutter. I mean, it has 2-plane depth at times, and it's up to 91 miles an hour. He's showing feel for a changeup, This was a guy they signed for $45,000 out of the Dominican Republic 2 years ago. He's flying through the system. Still want to see a little bit more touch and feel, but the power stuff coming out of his hand is really, really exciting.
Yeah, I guess this is the move for a lot of teams, right? Like focus on the bats with either your big money signings or your early round picks, and then just take these pitchers, stock up on a lot of these pitchers that maybe seem like sort of vanilla-ish at the time. I mean, Valera's background more than I do, but just the fact that he was such a relative low money signing at the time, like we don't get a ton of like super prominent pitching prospects coming out of the international market at a young age, but yeah, it seems to work for a number of teams, taking the arms later and either drafting pitchers who know how to throw the ball for strikes, and you can just layer on some strength, add some velocity. We mentioned like a splitter-ish changeup with him. I don't know if he's still actually throwing a splitter, but that jumps out to me as a trait that you might like in particular. And just kind of speaking to his early results, the first two games were really solid in terms of the results, and then his third outing, kind of like with Ben Hess, we talked about, just got hit around a little bit. 7 earned runs in a single outing. He's let up a home run in each game that he's pitched so far. Do you have any like homer prone specific issues, or do you think that's maybe just getting a little too locked into some small sample noise early in the season?
I'm not totally sure. I'd have to look at it more closely, but yeah, I mean, I could see if he's leaving something out over the plate, making mistakes with his command. Even A-ball hitters can jump on that and take advantage. But I don't have I don't have any huge long-term concerns over that.
Yeah. And also just pulling up his overall strike rate to see what we're working with. 63% strikes, which feels about average overall, maybe especially you could go a little bit higher for a young pitcher, but that seems perfectly fine too.
Yeah, I mean, they got Yordanny Monegro too, another young, well, not quite as young right-handed pitcher they signed out of the Dominican Republic back in 2020. $35,000 signing. Again, like you said, there's not a ton of big money international pitching prospects in general. I mean, Harleen Susana has been looking good, obviously, for Padres signed him, traded him to the Nationals for part of the Juan Soto trade, but there's just not a lot of big money Dominican or Venezuelan pitching prospects that get signed. So, and Monegro has been really good early on in Double-A. 20 strikeouts, 4 walks, over 9 2/3. Another guy with a strikeout rate close
near
to 50%.
Yeah.
6'4" right-handed pitcher, and another guy kind of like Early, where he does have a good fastball, pitching right around the mid 90s, but he throws his slider more than he throws his fastball, because that slider is it's a good pitch for him. Most of his swing and miss is coming on that pitch, so it's kind of a different profile than those other two guys that we talked about earlier, Early, Valera, and Brandon Clark too. I'd probably be higher on all three of those guys compared to Monegro, but again, for like a pretty small, obscure international signing.
Yeah, $35,000 signing.
Yeah, he's having success as a 22-year-old right now in Double-A. He looks like a big leaguer, at least in some capacity. I'm not totally sure yet. I mean, I'd keep him as a starter for as long as possible. I think Valera is a starter. I think Early is a starter. I think Clark, depending on some of the durability stuff, if he can hold up, looks like a starter. So either way, I mean, the pitching overall in the Red Sox system right now, I think definitely looks a lot brighter than it did if we were having this conversation a few years ago.
Yeah, and that's without even having anything much to say about Luis Perales, who feels like one of the more exciting pitching prospects in the game, just on paper. The stuff he's shown in the past, is he rehabbing from TJ still at this point? I don't think he's expected to pitch really any in 2025, so maybe we'll have to just kind of pump the brakes on him and see what happens a year from now. But kind of cool to see Boston maybe becoming pitcher U in front of our very eyes after graduating or nearly graduating a lot of really exciting offensive players. But it feels like you
Yeah.
just have to give Boston's scouting, player development a ton of credit in all phases at this point.
Yeah, 75,000 out of Venezuela back in 2019. So another
This
lower
is
dollar.
Perales.
Yeah,
Or
Perales.
Perales. Yep.
Another lower dollar international signing who's clicked for them.
Actually, talking about like the lower money arms for them with Connelly, I'm curious to look back through their draft history in recent years and see. I mean, these are first round picks for the Red Sox since 2018. Tristan Casas in 2018. I guess they didn't have a first round pick in 2019. 2020, Nick York. 2021, Marcelo Meyer. 2022, Mikey Romero. 2023, Kyle Teal. 2024, Braden Montgomery. So since 2018, they've gone all bats in the first round. In the second round, in that same time span, it has been Nick Decker, Matthew Lugo, Cam Cannon, Judd Fabian, who didn't sign, Cutter Coffey, Nazan Zanatello, and then Peyton Tolley. Tolley is the only one of those players I mentioned in the second round who is a pitcher. And let me just expand it out to third round. Okay, third round, once we get there, it's basically we're in the pitcher range. So Boston has, whether it was like intentional by them or they just happen to have hitters at the top of their board in each of these years, have definitely had a lot of bats early before taking some pitchers later. Again, you hear about a lot of teams who that's kind of the strategy they would like to use in the draft each given year, just because it does seem like there are a lot more levers you can pull in player development to unlock something for pitchers than with hitters in general.
And they went much heavier on pitching after Braden Montgomery last year. I mean, 4 of their next 5 picks after Braden Montgomery through the top 6 rounds were pitchers, including Brandon Clark. So and Peyton Tolley, who you mentioned too.
Yep. So winning strategy for them, at least recently.
Yeah, I mean, they hit on, obviously Christian Campbell too with their 4th round pick the year before. So very curious to see who they're going to take in that 4th or 5th round this year.